Hello, and welcome back to My Last Vinyl, the show where I like vinyls, I buy vinyls, and this is My Last Vinyl. This is Fearless Movement by Kamasi Washington, and I found him through the Andre 3000 feature on this album. As you may have seen in my The Best Albums of 2024, I believe it was, I had listened to Andre 3000's flute album, if that's the right term for it, New Blue Sun. And due to that, when this came out, I was like, is this him rapping or is this him playing the flute? And I was pleasantly surprised when it was him playing the flute. Of course, I would have wanted some rapping from Andre 3000 because he's really good at it. But his feature on this is really great as well. I got this for 389 Swedish crowns, which is this much right now. I had been looking at this for the longest time. I believe this is the record I've been like walking past and checking if it's still there for probably the longest time of all the records I have. Because usually it takes maybe 2 or 3 times of me seeing it and being like, oh, should I buy it? And then I finally decide that I have looked at this plenty of times without getting it. It's about time I get it. I've probably walked past this 8 times, checked every single time if it's still there, and still not bought it. But then they got Cherry Bomb by Tyler the Creator in their store, and this sounds like a very random starting point of the story. I was really interested in getting that. So I, during my lunch break, took the bus to the record store, went in, instantly bought Cherry Bomb, and then when I got out, I realized, wait, this isn't the actual vinyl that I wanted. I should have bought this one because this is what I had been looking for the longest time, and it cost pretty much the same. I instantly went back in, or if it was the day after, I believe, and wanted to return it. It was the same guy that I had bought the Cherry Bomb vinyl from, and I was like, I think this was an impulsive purchase, and there was actually a different vinyl that I wanted. Can I just swap them out? And there was no problem in that. This one was 10 crowns cheaper, so about €1 or $1. I swapped them out and I was very happy I got this one instead, because they still haven't gotten more of this. When I found this album, there were two in the vinyl. There were two there, and then there was only one, and that stood for the longest time until I got it. I'm really happy I got this instead, even though Cherry Bomb is a really good album. This is what I had been looking for, and the main reason why I got this instead is because I had been wanting to get more jazz stuff in my collection, so that I could mix up my genres a bit more. And honestly, Cherry Bomb isn't really a vinyl album, as I tend to call the vinyls that I purchase, but this definitely is. So, on to the typical things that I usually talk about. Let's start off with the cover. We have Kamasi Washington and a child. I haven't looked up to who this child is. It may be his daughter. But Kamasi Washington standing still, a child running around, him standing on some sort of logo, the same logo which is on the back, but we'll get to that soon. Really colorful background, which really supports me buying this as a vinyl instead of on CD, for example. First of all, the CDs, like newly pressed CDs, newly burned CDs is more correct term, they have gotten way too expensive. So why would I get that instead of this one, which cost like $15 more? I don't know. But this colorful background, I just noticed the same logo is up there. But this colorful background, it really makes this cover an artwork. So I am really happy to have it in this big format. Then we have a hype sticker for it being a red and blue vinyl. Of course, you've got to have that. So I've left the shrink wrap on, even though this is a gatefold. But I've left it on because I didn't want to remove that. And I haven't been bothered or really that interested in opening this because it's just some pictures, and I never look at them as gatefolds. I don't find a reason to. It's fun that it's there, and then in a couple of years I may get interested in opening it, and then it's like a new vinyl, I guess. So the back, we have the track list going around in a circle, and then the same symbol that we have seen. I haven't looked into what this symbol is, but it's a cool symbol at least. And then we had the track that I was talking about that Andre 3000 is on, Dream State. As you've now understood, there are 2 vinyls. I was hoping for them to be the typical mixed history, when it was red plus blue vinyl, you know, when they mix it all up and everybody gets a unique one because they don't get blended the same. Sadly not, but that's alright. Instead, we've got, I'm not gonna take them out fully, we've got red. Simple red sounds like a very show-offy way of naming a color. And then we've got the blue one. And here's the label and the backside. It's 2 vinyls, and like I said, it would have been fun if they mixed the colors together, but I get it, it's probably cheaper this way. Onto the track list. There are a lot of tracks on this. I'm gonna have to look up the exact runtime. Give me 1 second. There are 12 tracks and it runs for about 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's a lot, as you can tell. The tracks are long in typical jazz fashion, even though this is more modern jazz. I don't remember the actual subgenre thingamajig that this wants to call itself, but I really like this genre, so I don't care. Only way I care about genres is whenever I want to explore something similar, but that sorts itself out pretty easily, quite often. Over to my favorites. Let's start off with Computer Love. Whenever I think about this album, I instantly think of that song, because the chorus, or what you'd call it, it's not catchy, but it really gets stuck in your head without the typical pop catchy meaning of it. Because the chorus goes like, computer love, and that thing loops in my head whenever I think about this album. So that's one reason for me to put it up by my 3 favorites. Other than that, it's just a really good song. It's cozy, it's good, it's all you need. Next up, we've got Interstellar Peace, within parentheses, The Last Stance. This truly feels like a last dance in the typical movie sense, in a soundtrack or whatever. So he's really captured that feeling, and it's so obvious that he wanted to match it up for almost like a boss battle, you know? And speaking of boss battle, it reminds me of the track American Venom in Red Dead Redemption 2. Whoever has finished playing that, you do know which scene I'm talking about probably, or which part of the game I'm talking about. It really reminds me of that song. Not just in terms of it being an actual last stance, but it captures the same mood. And yeah, I'm just impressed with that. And I like listening to movie soundtracks every now and then. And Kamasi Washington has really managed to make a full-on soundtrack in the jazz genre. It doesn't only have the typical instrumental or just a few words here and there tracks, it also has Get Lit. That's more in my typical music taste, while still mixing in, or while still playing upon the Kamasi Washington style that I've newly found. So it's more rapping, a lot more lyrics than, for example, Computer Love, and much clearer message. I like all 3 of those songs, so if you want to get into this, I'd recommend Computer Love, Interstellar Peace, and Get Lit. But I really want people who are interested in this genre to see it, and that's why I'm happy that I can take it up on this little show on my corner of the internet. That really feels like something you'd say on an old school blog. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't worry, this is not my last vinyl. I have a lot more, but I've not bought many more, so I'm currently getting done with that list. I'll probably see you next month with another My Last Vinyl, because this is not my last vinyl, that's just the name of the show, and yeah. Take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Also, I'm currently working on an album of my own, which I have teased the current track list of it on my music related Instagram called mgrainmusic, which you can find in my link below. And soon there will be a new single for that. So check it out and keep yourself updated on whatever else I'm working on that's not just on YouTube. Thank you. Good night, everybody. I'm going to bed because I have procrastinated this way too long.